In this video, we are going to look at the first method of solving quadratic equation, which is called factorization method. So we are going to look at the factorization method. Let's take some examples to illustrate how to solve a quadratic equation using factorization method. Solve the following quadratic equations. A, let's solve like x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals to 0. Let me add another one. 2x squared plus 6x then let's say plus 4 equals to 0. Now let's solve these two examples together. The first step, you write your solution or answer. It depends on how you answer your question. A, we have x squared plus 2x minus 8 is equals to 0. Since we are going to solve this quadratic equation using factorization method, there are some basic steps that you need to remember. The first thing is you have to look at your C, which is the arbitrary constant, the term independent of x. Here, the term independent of x is minus 8. So we now find the factors of minus 8. Factors of minus 8, we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Let's say the factors 3 cannot enter 8 without remainder, so it will be minus 4. Then finally, minus 8. And also we have 1, 2, 4, and 8. These are the factors of minus 8, minus 1, minus 2, minus 4. Then we have minus 8, 1, 2, 4, and 8. So inside these factors of minus 8, what are the two numbers? If you multiply them, you will get minus 8. If you add them or subtract them, it will give you 2. Let me repeat. You look for the two numbers. If you add them or subtract them, they will give you the coefficient of x here, which is positive 2. If you multiply those two numbers, then you will get minus 8. So let's see, where are those two numbers? If we take 4 and minus 2, let's take 4 and minus 2. The numbers are 4 and minus 2. Because 4 times minus 2, it will give us what? Minus 8, which has satisfied the first condition. And secondly, 4 plus, if we add the two numbers, plus minus 2, this is the same thing as saying 4 plus times minus minus 4 minus 2, which is equals to positive 2. So these two numbers can solve. The next thing we will do is we write x squared plus 2x minus 8 is equals to, you open two brackets like this, you write x, what are those two numbers? Positive 4 and negative 2. We have plus 4, and here I will have minus 2, which is equals to 0. Then the next step will now say x plus 4, x minus 2 is equals to 0. The next step will now separate each term. If this product of these two terms is 0, then that means x plus 4 is equals to 0, or x minus 2 is equals to 0. Hence we will have x is equals to, this is positive 4. If it crosses the equality sign, we have minus 4, or x is equals to minus 2. If it crosses the equality, it becomes positive 2, which is just 2. Now the solution, therefore the solutions are x equals to minus 4 or x equals to 2. This is how we do it. Then let's look at the second example, which is 2x squared plus 6x plus 4 equals to 0. B, 2x squared plus 6x plus 4 equals to 0. We have so many methods of solving this. Even the factorization method can be done in variety of ways, in several ways. But the most simplest approach is when you have this kind of quadratic equation. If you notice the difference between this one and this one that we have solved, is this one, the coefficient of x squared is 1. It is nothing here, so it is 1. For this one, the coefficient of x squared is 2. Before you solve this using factorization method, the simplest approach is to divide through by the coefficient of x squared. You divide through by the coefficient of x squared, which is 2. Divide through by 2. Therefore, we will have 2x squared divided by 2 plus 6 divided by 2x, then plus 4 divided by 2 is equals to 0 divided by 2. So when we have this kind of case, this 2 will go with this 2. Here I'm left with x squared plus 6 divided by 2 is 3. I have 3x, then plus 4 divided by 2 is 2, equals to 0 divided by 2 is 0. So now we have standardized the equation. Now we solve it using factorization method. The first step, to find the factors of 2. Since 2 is the arbitrary constant here, we find the factors of 2. The 2 is positive, that's why here too the 2 is positive. What are the factors of 2? The numbers that can enter 2 without remainder, or the numbers that 2 can divide without remainder. Those two numbers, we have 2 divided by 1 is 2, remainder 0, we have 1. And also 2 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 0, we have 2. The factors of 2 are 1 and 2 respectively. So now what do we do to these factors? Let's see. In these factors, do we have two numbers of which if we multiply them we'll get 2, if we add them or subtract them we'll get 3? Yes, we have. 1 times 2 will give us 2, 1 plus 2 will give us 3. Now we'll now say x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equals to, you open two brackets like this, you write your x, which is equals to 0. So those two numbers, they are plus 1 times plus 2 will get plus 3, and plus 1 times 2 will get plus 2. Those two numbers we have, let me write it here so that you can remember. If we take this one, it is positive 1 times positive 2, it will give us positive 2, which has satisfied the first condition. So the second condition to check is if we add them or subtract them, will we get this 3? 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2, it will give us plus 3. So these two numbers can serve. We'll have x, we just carry the numbers and just put them inside this bracket. We have plus 1 plus 2, which is equals to 0. Hence we'll have x plus 1, x plus 2 equals to 0. If the product of these two terms is 0, this implies that x plus 1 is equals to 0, or x plus 2 is equals to 0. Hence we will have x is equals to, this is positive 1, if it crosses the equality it becomes minus 1, or x is equals to, this is positive 2, if it crosses the equality it becomes minus 2. This is the solution. This is the solution of the equation x equals to minus 1 or x is equals to minus 2. One thing that we should note here, as far as factorization method is concerned, is not all equations are solvable using factorization method. It's not all equations that are solvable using factorization method. Now, how do we know an equation cannot be solved using factorization method? We check if we cannot find those two numbers in the factors that can satisfy those two conditions, then that equation cannot be solved using factorization method. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example so that we should take note. Let me see. Let me write, for example, x squared plus 3x then plus 1 equals to 0. You see our constant c here, it is 1. Now, factors of 1, it is only 1. So how many numbers? In the factors, we have numbers that if we multiply them, we will get 3. We will get 1, sorry. If we add them or subtract them, we'll get 3. If you look at 1, even 1 times 1 is 1. Condition 1 satisfied. But 1 plus 1 is not equal to 3. You can see 1 times 1 is 1. Condition 1 satisfied. 1 plus 1 is equals to 2, which is not the same thing as 3. You see, condition 2 is unsatisfied. Therefore, when we have this kind of case, we conclude that the equation, in this case, the equation is x squared plus 3x plus 1, cannot be solved. Cannot be solved using factorization method. Thank you, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. These are some exercises which you can attempt to test whether you have understood what we have done. Exercises, factorization method to solve the following: 4x squared plus 8x plus 2 equals to 0. Then x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals to 0. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you.